Good afternoon, everyone.
Are we on yet, Drew? Okay.
We're going to give it one more minute so we have a few more participants to join us. So give us just one more minute and we will get started. Thank you. Kelci, we ready to get going?
I think so. We're just at 2 o'clock here, so yeah, maybe 20 seconds and then we can get started just to let everyone kind of get on and buffered and all of that fun stuff.
Sounds amazing. I feel like we're talk show hosts this time.
I know.
Though.
It feels a little more like we're like Jenna Bush Hager and Hoda Kotb.
Okay, then where's our wine?
Oh,
never mind.
I don't think that's in our contract. Maybe next time we should get a little background music to start.
We should.
I think that would be a good addition next time.
We could actually have maybe a backup band.
Ooh.
That sounds like our cue to start. Thanks, Drew. Kelci and I are coming to you live today from Encantera Country Club as we bring you our second edition of the MTL Monthly Live. We are in August, which in most places, quite honestly, is really hot and steamy, so we're excited to be inside, indoors, and bringing to you today's program. So thanks again for tuning in. I know several of you I have been corresponding with, and I know that Ann is going to be joining us from the great state of Michigan. And she and her family have recently purchased a home in one of our communities. And she actually has the opportunity to view this live, even though she hasn't moved in. So welcome, Ann. It's great to have you with us. And then we also ran into members out in the parking lot. So we want to make sure and acknowledge all of those great folks here at Encantera. So Kels, why don't you tell us what we're going to go through today?
Yeah, so first of all, we're going to tell you a little bit about who we are in case you haven't joined us for one of these live streams yet, or if you haven't seen us on our MTL monthly videos. I'll start with myself, so we'll go a little bit out of order. I'm Kelci. I am the communications manager for BlueStar Resort and Golf, the company who manages your resort clubs. I'm also the editor-in-chief of MyTrilogyLife.com and the My Trilogy Life magazine, and I am a 6-year team member with BlueStar and with working with the Trilogy team.
Great, and my name is Sara. Again, you've probably seen both Kelci and I on several of our recordings that we've been doing recently. But I've been with the BlueStar team now for over 10 years, started in lifestyle at Encantera, and in fact, I'm wearing one of my shirts that I got many, many years ago, and getting still great compliments on it. So then I moved into our central services office, and again, working with BlueStar as part of the activation team for the lifestyle that you enjoy.
So what are we doing today, Sara?
Well, you know, we call this the MTL Monthly Live. And this is brought to you, we started actually the beginning in January, just to make sure that we could reach out to all of our community members, help answer questions for you, but also just share with you what's coming up in the great month of August. And each of our communities is a little bit different, but we will try to highlight for you not only national programs, but also individual things that might be coming up that we know our members are so excited to participate in.
Awesome. And before we truly get started and jump into all of the great content we have for today, just a quick note that this session is recorded. None of you are obviously on camera. It's just on us. But if you have any questions, there is a chat feature online. So we have our lifestyle director here at Encantera, Drew Rach, manning the chat function. So if you have any questions, feel free to chat in there. Drew may answer back, or he might stop us and have us answer live on air. So if you have any questions, feel free to answer there, or ask them there, sorry. And we'll try to get to them throughout the broadcast or possibly at the end. So
sounds great.
what we're talking about today. So it is the month of August, which is Focus on Fitness Month, as we hope you all know. So we're going to get started talking about Focus on Fitness Month. Then we're going to move into September a little bit, where we're going to talk about the annual Trilogy Survivor Pool, Good Neighbor Day. We'll go over the MTL magazine, which will be debuting early next year. And then we will get into an MTL tip, which is going to be how to filter the events calendar today.
Love it. Thanks, Kels.
Yeah.
So I'll kick it off with Focus on Fitness. We do this each August throughout our Trilogy brand. And this year, this is actually our third year doing it, which seems amazing to me. I feel like we just actually got started.
I know.
But this year, we're debuting our commitment journal. And so many of you have probably already picked this up in your local club. If you have not, please go over and see the fine folks in our fitness and wellness department, and they would be happy to share this with you. I know we're going to go through it a little bit online, but I think the most important thing to keep in mind about while August is Focus on Fitness, you can start this journal anytime and do it for as long as you would like. Our team of trainers came up with 5 different core exercises. We call them foundational, which are really designed to help with strength, balance, and stability. So we all know that as we age, we've got to pay really close attention to that, because this is the time of our lives that we've been waiting for. We've worked really, really hard to get here. And now we want to make sure that we are healthy, strong, focused, happy, and doing all the right elements to pull all that together for our lifestyle. And then the other thing that we have done is we invited Harley Pasternak. He joined us on August the 4th, and that recording is on MTL for those of you who have not seen Harley's presentation yet. It was really, really dramatic.
Yeah, it was great. It was, if you haven't watched it, it's an hour long. The first about half an hour, Harley's really just talking about, 5 things that he thinks are really essential for wellness. And then he asks he answers a ton of member questions. Yeah. So if you find yourself having a question earlier while you're watching just Harley explain things, he probably answered it on the second half of the presentation. So I would definitely recommend watching it.
And it was really a joy working with Harley. He actually took a look at our commitment journal and praised our team for everything that they had done, and offered to add 5 additional exercises, because we know that some of our members visit the gym regularly, some of them do not. So we have a chance not only to build a really rich foundation for your program, but then also stepping it up a notch. And Harley has done a film as well, which we'll take a look at how do you access the film. And while Kelci is going to be pulling that up, one of the things that I'd like to encourage you, even if you missed Harley's presentation, you can still email either Kelci or I anytime with questions that you may have, because that has happened since Harley's presentation. And then I actually reach out to Harley and he answers the question and I get you that information back. So I hope that you will find that very, very beneficial. But let's talk a little bit about Focus on Fitness Month and this commitment journal that we've devised.
So just quickly, you may have noticed that I switched over to mytrilogylife.com. So the commitment journal is also available to download online.
Correct.
All you need to do is go to MTL and then go to the news section of the website and look for that Focus on Fitness news post. You can also search Focus on Fitness in the search bar up in the right-hand corner of MTL, and then go to the little news tab and you'll find it there. So if you just click, there's a big click here button to download the journal online, and then you'll be able to see it.
So first of all, I love the cover this year. Our creative team did a phenomenal job of taking one of our members who was working out in one of our gyms here, and we focused on him as being one of our key celebrities that was going to be featured this year. So we love it. We love the fact that he's doing some weight training there and really watching out for his physical fitness.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's a member at Trilogy Orlando, I believe, down in Groveland, Florida.
I believe you're right. You can see here our 5 trainers on the inside cover of our journal. These are 5 ladies that work in our fitness and wellness department across our Trilogy brand. We've got Jenny from Lake Norman, Tammy is from the Polo Club, Michelle and Pam are both from our Outlook Club in Summerlin, Nevada. And then Fawn is the newest member of our fitness team that is joining us from Tahale up in the great state of Washington. So these ladies did a great job of putting together exercises and showing you the different variations, because I think that's really important. If you're just getting started,
yeah,
You're easily intimidated by looking at somebody else maybe working out in the gym. So if you're like me, I kind of start trying this stuff at home.
Yep.
Where there's nobody around to I get a little self-conscious. So just kind of critique a little bit. So the ladies put together some great variations here, and we can flip over to the next page and take a look at that. So for example, here is Jenny. Again, she's showing us the bird dog, which is not only a kind of bourbon, by the way, Kels. I'm not sure if you knew that.
I don't think I did, but that's a fun fact.
But again, another fun fact coming to you live from your your national live stream. But this shows some variations, whether you're a beginner, intermediate, advanced, or expert. And what we really wanted you to do is kind of self-evaluate and figure out where you are on your fitness journey. Then you can record your results on the right-hand side, maybe make some notes for yourself about how I was able to do the beginner series, plus I was able to do 2 or 3 intermediates, but this is just for you. And that's what I love about this is it's really, you can do it at home, on vacation.
In the gym if you wanted to.
In the gym if you want to.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of variety here for you.
Yeah, and I think Sarah touched on it already, but I think the big thing is, if you've never worked out before, you can start with these beginner moves and kind of track where you're at within a month's time, and you're probably going to move into the intermediate or maybe even the advanced, depending, on kind of how hard you work at it. But it's really something that anyone can do no matter, where you're at in your fitness journey. So
absolutely.
I think that's very exciting.
The other thing that's really important to remember is, here's an example of the deadlift from the Polo Club team. And for example, if you're in the program and you're kind of really working on this and you need some pointers, any of our fitness trainers can stop and help you, because we have to just be really careful about if we've had shoulder surgery, or what about if I've replaced my knee, or what about if I have a rotator cuff problem, which we were talking to a member earlier about that. So I guess the thing to really remember here is if you need help, you need assistance, any of our trainers will spend just a few minutes with you and help you walk through this. And the next one we've got here is Michelle. And Michelle wanted to do this exercise, just recognizing how important it is that you have strength and stability in your core so that as we age, we can do things without assistance. And when I think, Michelle and I chatted about this, and she goes, some of the most fundamental things that you do involve squatting and standing up and engaging your core to be able to do that. And this is a really important thing. So everything from getting up from your dining room table to getting out of your car, all of that is encompassed in the squat movement. And then Pam does a great job here of getting some shoulder activity going as well, and including balance. I think what's most important here too is if you're at home and you don't have weights and you don't have all that kind of stuff, bottles of water, cans of soup, whatever's in your pantry, you can use it.
Yeah, and I did that at the beginning of COVID for sure. I was using canned black beans as my weights because everyone was sold out of weights.
Absolutely. And then here Fawn is showing a really great, it's a plank, but she's showing you a variety of ways that you can do it. So for me, I always start the plank on my kitchen counter when I'm preparing dinner. I'm constantly going through that motion because, again, getting down on the floor in the middle of my kitchen isn't what I want to be doing, but I want to be making dinner and I want to stay active. So Fawn did a really great job of just building in additional elements. And I think that's important too, because we don't all work out the same. Our bodies don't respond the same. So she did a great job here of, again, some folks I know don't want to get down on their hands and knees, and you're still going to get the benefit. And I guess, that's when we roll into the page here about Harley. One of the things that he really focused on is, do what you can do. No matter what you do, you're going to gain some benefit from it.
Oh, yeah.
And so again, if you look at the QR code here in the lower left-hand corner, if you actually access that through your phone, it will take you straight to a video from Harley, right, Kels?
Yeah, it does. And Harley shows you how to do all of the moves that he's shown here on the right-hand side. So he goes through the active clamshell and the T-raise and the Harley and the surfer and the skater lunge. And he shows you really how to do all of those moves and the proper way to do that so you don't get hurt. And, if you're just kind of not sure where to start with the moves, because these ones are only the one photo, these ones don't go through the full beginner, intermediate, advanced expert sort of thing. So being able to see someone demonstrate them in real life on a video is super helpful. So we definitely recommend scanning that QR code there and checking that video out.
And I'm sure that we're going to house that QR code video someplace after August is over.
Yep. So that anyone who, again, like Sarah mentioned this earlier, you know, if you are maybe halfway through August or you're traveling, you've been doing a bunch of stuff, but you still want to do this Focus on Fitness month, it doesn't have to be in August. You know, you can start September 1st, you could start September 15th, December 31st. You can really download this from MTL at any time and, you know, kind of make it your next sort of month-long challenge. Mm-hmm. It doesn't have to be in August, which I think is really nice.
Yeah, I agree with that. So the team did a fantastic job of pulling this all together. And again, as Kelci alluded to, you can download it. You can head into the fitness wellness area in your club. No matter what, we'll make sure that you get a copy, that's for sure. I happen to actually have some here again. Really, really excited to share those with members that are here. In addition to the commitment journal, one of the things that we did as a Focus on Fitness, we did national live streams. So what you're viewing today is a national live stream. This is focused on the MTL Monthly Live, but you can tune in also by searching the events feature and going under national live streams. You can see any of these coming up. And again, we have recordings after they're over.
Yeah, and I'm going to show you actually towards the end, that's going to be our MTL tip for today, is I'm going to show you how to filter the events calendar so that you can see, you know, more specific events that you'd like to see. So if you wanted to see all of the national live streams, there's a way to view just those, which we'll go over here in a little bit.
Sounds great. So we want to thank Michelle in advance. She's doing a class, believe it or not, called Sit to Be Supple. This is a very popular class that is always full up at Summerlin. So Michelle and several members there have agreed to walk through that class together. We've got John, who's going to be showing us from Trilogy Lake Frederick, golf stretching and its benefits. So I know many of our clubs have golf courses. Even if they don't, we always have a group of folks who go out and play golf in the local area together. So John's going to help us with that because stretching is a real important warm-up exercise before you go out and start swinging the club around.
Yeah, and I will say, even if you're not a golfer, it's just going to be a great stretching class anyways. Yeah. So even if you don't golf, if you play pickleball or tennis, it's probably going to have some benefit for you too.
That's a great point. Thanks, Kels. And then, of course, we have the benefits of exercise. Dr. Amy Whittington is our naturopath, and she's always really, really good about taking a look at what we're focusing on and building her programming around that. So, again, that'll be broadcast here from Arizona. And then Jessica Bowling, our wellness director, up again at Trilogy Lake Frederick. Those guys contributed a lot to national live streams this month. But she's going to be taking everything that we've learned throughout the month of August and really tying it together because, you know, we don't talk about diet and anything that we've introduced this month.
Yeah.
But there's keto and all these different kinds and what works and what doesn't. Harley has an opinion on that as well.
Yep.
So again, we're here to just offer you content and let you figure out the decisions that you want to make. But again, all of this information is on MTL. Plus, if you're around your club, you may actually see this on a true digital player so that we've kind of choreographed this information so that you can keep track of it.
Yeah, and just one note before we move on, much like the downloadable commitment journal on MTL, all of the recordings of these live streams will be posted within that same post. Harley's is already up there, so if you just go on MTL, search Focus on Fitness, go to the big Focus on Fitness post for this year, you'll be able to download the commitment journal and view any of the recordings from these live streams, and then also see which ones are coming up, and then click on the link to them from that news post. So
sounds good. Thanks, Kels.
Awesome. And then I think this is probably staying with me because it's time to talk about the Trilogy Survivor Pool.
Yay!
So, unfortunately, I don't believe we were able, did we do it last year? No, it was the bracket challenge we weren't able to do last year. So last year we did do the Survivor Pool. It is back once again. I believe it's our 4th year of doing it.
Correct.
So it's a fun and free competition for all of our members to enter. It doesn't matter if you're a big football fan or not. We've had members who have won who don't watch football at all, but it's basically a game of chance. Every week you go into the Run Your Pool system that we use. You choose one team to win, any NFL team, and if they win, you move on to the next week. If you don't, you're out. So it's super easy. It's pretty much just a game of chance. I mean, there is some skill behind it. If you do happen to know football, you know, sometimes you might feel like you have a leg up, but then sometimes your team surprises you and your team doesn't win. So it's really kind of a game of chance. So again, if you don't know football, we still encourage you to enter because there are prizes. So winners are determined both at each community, and there's also a national prize. So at each community, the winners are determined by basically which members go furthest in the season. I believe there's 17 weeks now in the NFL season. So if a member at Encanterra goes all the way to week 17, they'll win a certain prize amount. If the only winner at Encanterra who's left only goes to week 15, there's a different prize amount. So it's really the last one standing are the ones who will win. And then it kind of depends on how far they get based on how much of the prize they will receive. So there's that. And then from all of the winners at each community, there is one national prize sort of chosen at random. And it's a big, fun football tailgate basket that Sara and I have a great time deciding upon every year. Usually it includes a Yeti cooler and some Yeti cups or some game chairs. Or, a gift card to the NFL shop or something like that. So it is a lot of fun. Like I said, it's free. And the NFL season is coming up. So the details will be posted to MTL probably the last week of August before games start. I believe the first full week of September. So there's kind of a half week but where it's still August and starts to be September. So first full week of December is when the season starts, but they'll be able to sign up starting at the end of August.
And what I love about this is I don't know football. I also don't ever do very well in it, but it's a lot of fun to try. And I think that's really what we have learned so much about our communities is how competitive our members are. There will be people emailing both you and I after this saying, when can we sign up? When can we sign up? So it is quite fun to do. The fact that we can do it online is also very beneficial. And then what happens in a lot of our clubs is they actually have watch parties.
Yeah.
So they're going to be broadcasting the football games on Thursday nights, Monday nights, Sundays, whatever.
Yep.
So be sure and watch MTL for your community to get the most excitement out of this year's Trilogy Survivor Pool.
Should be very fun. It always is.
It always is. It's always so darn competitive.
I know.
I always seem to have a favorite every time we go through this presentation or whatever we're talking about. Good Neighbor Month is really a great month, celebrated the entire month of September. Excuse me. The actual Good Neighbor Day is September the 28th, which I believe is a Monday, but don't quote me on that. But we like to celebrate our Trilogy members all month long. One of the things that we have really found in our communities is how grateful everyone is to have found an active adult community where they fit right in almost instantaneously, it feels like sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if anyone maybe had watched the national webinar we did a couple weeks ago, but there was a couple of members that said, they moved in, they went to the restaurant at their club to enjoy a drink, a celebratory drink, and they got pulled into a member meet and greet happy hour, and they met a bunch of members that day and made friends from the very first day that they lived in the community. So it's very true. It's very exciting to see. Again, many of us will have worked our entire lives to achieve this dream of what I call the third act, or the kids are out of the house, now we're getting closer to our grandkids, and being able to spend time the way that we really want to spend it. So I really give a hats off to all of our lifestyle directors across the Trilogy brand who have come up with new and creative ways of how to engage our members and just saying thank you, whether it's the neighbor next door, whether it's somebody new down the street, maybe it's somebody that you've had kind of forgotten about, lived in your community. Because the other thing that happens in our communities is our people move from one home to another home. Yep.
Like we start here and it wasn't big enough, so then we go up to a different size home. And all of a sudden they live on a different street and there's different neighbors. So our team will be rolling out for Good Neighbor Month a bunch of different ideas, but we've got some ideas here that our teams have talked about, specifically at Encanterra. We're talking about painting some rocks and hiding them around the community with little sayings on them. They've always done cookie grams and also wine bottle grams. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right, but
oh my God.
Many, many times you can come up, write a personalized note, grab a bottle of wine, and then at this community, the team here at the club actually goes out and delivers it.
Wouldn't that be a nice surprise?
I know, just in time for happy hour probably, right? It's always 5 o'clock somewhere. The other thing that we introduced a couple of years ago, remember when we started doing the gratitude boards?
Oh yeah, members really loved that.
And so I think we're going to have some repeats of that this year. I know our Vistancia team has talked about they have 2 locations, and so they're probably going to be rolling those out, where that's basically where you go up and you just write a nice note or a thank you to somebody who lives in the community.
Yeah.
And then it's just another inspiration to kind of say thank you to your neighbors for that. Also, I think Vistancia is doing a program where even if I'm not at the community, maybe I'm out on vacation, I can actually purchase a coupon for a drink or a meal or something for somebody for happy hour.
Oh, nice.
Local community gatherings happen all the time. It's a really great time to do a community walk. And then the other thing that happens every single time we turn around is a philanthropic idea.
Oh, yeah.
And so I'm sure that we'll see more of that, whether it's, you know, a backpack drive or school supply drive, or we're already preparing for the holidays. So it's just a really great month to celebrate and feel really good about where you live. And the other thing about it is all of a sudden your friends and neighbors are going to say, hey, wait a minute, why doesn't my friend Susie move in here?
Yeah.
And all of a sudden we can invite her into our Trilogy community. So look forward to seeing what your lifestyle team is going to be doing for you in the month of September.
Awesome. And with that, we love to hear what you guys are doing all the time. So you've probably seen it on MTL, in the MTL Monthly, in your weekly newsletters, but we are looking for ideas for the next edition of the My Trilogy Life magazine. Hopefully you've seen a copy of it. If you have not, you can go to MTL, click on More Fun Stuff, and then there's a little magazine button where you can read editions of the publication online if you haven't been able to read them before. We've done 3 so far. We're doing our 4th edition that is set to release early next year. So this publication is really truly about telling the story of our members. So it is all member driven. All of the ideas come from mostly our members, or it's all about our members. You know, our lifestyle directors will send us stories sometimes about members that they've spoken with that are awesome or have done something really cool in the community. So if you or someone you know has a really great story to tell, please go to MTL under More Fun Stuff and click MTL Magazine. There's a submission form there. Or you can always reach out via email to feedback@bluestarresorts.com, which is also accessible on the bottom of MTL, where the button says send us feedback. That goes straight to my inbox. So any ideas you have, please send them our way. We're getting really, really excited about this year's edition. We've got a ton of great ideas, but our goal is to really feature each community at least once. So there's a couple of communities where we haven't quite got very many ideas from, or if any at all. So please send them in.
I should say, don't hesitate.
Don't hesitate.
We've gotten some really great stories, but we also are constantly looking for more.
Yeah.
So the team has already had a quick discussion on kind of what our overarching goals are for this year's communication. We are thinking it's going to be about 80 pages.
Yep. So it's pretty long. So
which
each
is-
community will probably be featured at least twice in this instant. It'll be sort of one big feature story and then one smaller story, and then just like bits of members sort of sprinkled throughout.
Yeah.
So the more members we can feature, the better, honestly.
And again, I always tout the lifestyle team. Sorry, that's what I do. But this also is a great opportunity. We hope it'll ship by and be in the clubs by mid-January, maybe late January, because we ran into some shipping issues last year. But this also is a chance for our lifestyle team to put together a release party for the magazine.
Yeah.
And so many of you have already been to a release party with the magazine, but normally there's a photographer, there's some great shots. I remember when Drew first started here, he had probably 200 plus people at an event. So we always try to find ways to get together, stay socially connected, and really engage. So that's part of what the magazine does for us as well. Yeah. It's also a fantastic tool if you know somebody who's thinking about moving into one of our communities. This is a great story that we share with you just to kind of show these are the people that really live in our communities. Everybody that you see in these magazines are real members.
Yep.
Even the folks on the cover are real people. We do everything from the ground up, organically grown. So we hope that you've got a great story that you'd like to share with us.
Yeah, it's also a really great kind of yearbook is what we talked about the other day, to kind of see what had happened in the last year, what members were doing. We do a lot of philanthropic stuff that has actually happened within the last year. So it's fun to look back on as well, the past issues.
And everybody loves the pet photos, Kelci.
Oh, I know.
Hint, hint.
Yeah, we're probably going to have a pet photo section this year, so get excited. And then finally, we're going to go through our MTL tip of the month, and I'm going to show you how to filter events. So I'm going to exit out of this little presentation we have, go back into MTL, We'll close out of our lovely commitment journal, and then I'm going to.
You know, Kelci, before you get started, we got some of the best feedback from last month's presentation.
Yeah.
On the way that you really helped the members hone in on their profile.
Oh.
And so thank you for doing that, because I think when you're first moving into community and somebody says, this is our communication platform, this is where you find everything.
Yep.
By the time they've gone through membership documents and onboarding, they're probably not retaining as much because we can only hold so much in our mind.
Totally.
So the great tool that you're providing us here is to just help us be able to be more efficient in the way that we find things. And make sure we don't miss anything, because that's the other thing is, I didn't know that was happening. How did I miss that?
Yep.
So Kelci's going to help you find all that great stuff. So take it away, Kelci.
Thanks. So if you go into MTL and you're looking through the events calendar, and you click on events, you'll be taken to the full events calendar. So straight away, all the list that you see here is every single event going on in your community, no matter if it's a lifestyle event, a fitness class, a member-led club, meetup or something. They're all here. And as you can see, I'm scrolling through Encanterra right now since we're here, and I've already gone, through 2 days, and I'm only halfway through the page. So there's a ton of stuff going on. So sometimes, it is, I guess, a good problem to have that there's so much going on, but sometimes it can be hard to kind of hone in on exactly what you want to see. So a couple of things you can do to help with that are using the filtering tools that are on MTL. So you've got 2 different things you can filter by. The first is event type. So if you click on that little drop down, you'll see all of the different event types that are available in your community. So here at Encanterra, we have fitness and health, which everyone has. Encanterra has a golf course, so there are golf course events here. If your community does not have a golf course, you probably will not see those at all. There's HOA events, which are technically usually fairly few and far between. Usually it's, committee meetings or annual meetings, so there's not always a ton going on in that section, but they are still represented here. We've got lifestyle, which is probably a bulk of your events. That's all of the stuff that is put on by your resort club, your lifestyle team, your lifestyle director. You have member-led clubs, so that's all of the events put on by all of the member-led clubs in your community. And then we also have national, which is all of the national live streams. So I know we mentioned we were going to do this earlier, so I'm just going to click on this national button here. And then the page is going to refresh and only show me national events. So you can see this week we've got a couple of national live streams happening. We have our live stream happening right now, which is probably where you found this link. You've got a cooking demo coming up tomorrow, a couple fitness classes over the weekend, and then next week we have a couple of live streams as well. So if you wanted to just see national live streams, you would click on that button. But say you wanted to see national live streams and lifestyle events. You could open this tab up again and then just click lifestyle. And then you'll see all of the events that are both lifestyle events and national live streams. So you can scroll through these. It's the same as the normal events calendar. So if you wanted to learn more, you could click into that and learn more about whatever that event is, register as needed, and all of that fun stuff. And one thing Sara had mentioned earlier that I wanted to point out is why we don't show the event times in the actual event description.
You're right. That was one of the questions.
So if you're looking through an event, the events are all, sort of set up the exact same way. You have a photo, you have what the event type is, and then also if it is a live stream or not. You have the event title, you have the price of the event, and then the full event description. So you'll find if you keep going, that the date and time of the event is down here, as well as the location, who the event is available to, and then the event contact. So one thing that happens with the national live streams is that MTL automatically knows what time zone your community is in. So right now we're in Encanterra, which is, I think, on Pacific time right now. So we're the same time as California, Washington, and some of the other states here on the West Coast. So this is, it's 2:33 right now. So right now this event started at 2 o'clock, so it's showing me that this event starts at 2 o'clock. But if I were to be in Lake Norman out on the West Coast in North Carolina, this would have shown that the event started at 5 p.m. So it's showing in whatever your community's local time zone is. So if we would have put, that this event started at 2 p.m. in the event description, I would have typed that in myself, and the system wouldn't really know to change it to the different time zone because I typed it into this open form field. But because of where this is entered within MTL, the system knows to go, oh, let me check which time zone this community is in and change it based on that time zone. So the most up-to-date time zone is down here at the bottom.
And the only thing that happens to our members sometimes is they're traveling.
Yes.
So then they're in a different time zone. So I think it's important that when you sign in, realize that the system is automated for your location where your community is based.
Community is, right.
And then you may have to adjust that. Or as many people have done over the last few months, is just email you or I and say, okay, so I'm going to,
actually happening.
yeah, what time's it happening? I'm going to be in New York or whatever that is. So again, always here to help, but we appreciate the feedback. And they're really good questions that we may not have always answered the way as effectively as we could have. So that was great.
And sometimes I will say, even at the local level, if someone, you're not dealing with different time zones, your event's only happening in your community. We've seen instances where someone will put the time in the event description, but then change it on the actual event that you'll see down here, but forget to change it in the event description. So it's just nice to have the information in sort of one true place. So that's why most of the time the times are only at the bottom of the event. But going back to the filtering, there is a secondary filtering option that you can use to look through the events. So you can also filter them by interest. So last month we sort of went over how to edit your profile on MTL and how to set your interests, which sort of filter what you see on the homepage of MTL in terms of events. So if you say you like fitness more, your homepage event section will show you more fitness classes or wellness events that are going on in your community. But they also make it so that every single event is tagged with these same interests. So if you wanted to come on here and only see, events that had to do with beer, for example, you could select beer, and it'll show any event that the team has marked is associated with beer. So Prime Rib Night is showing right now. You can grab a beer while you're enjoying the Prime Rib Night here at Palma Kitchen and Tap. So that is one event there. Let's say we were to add, let's go with dancing. We'll see what events also have to do with dancing. Doesn't look like there are any this week. Maybe next week? Nope. I guess people dance. No, they don't dance while they enjoy Prime Rib. This is still the beer one. But let's say we got rid of the beer and left it at dancing, and let's say maybe lectures and learnings. So you'll see that a couple of different things pop up. Complimentary Gym 101 orientation, that is a learning. You're learning how to use the gym. One Day University pops up. Coffee talk, lectures, stuff like that. So you can really tailor MTL to sort of what you would like to see. If there's a specific topic or type of event you want to see, you can sort of filter that to see exactly what you want versus the entire, possibly sometimes overwhelming events calendar.
Yeah, it is overwhelming sometimes when you look at it and you're like, okay, so there's 54 events happening in one day at this club.
I know.
And you're just like, holy cow. So I think when we created that opportunity to actually filter by events, I actually think member satisfaction probably went up and said, thank God, there's so much stuff I was seeing that I didn't want to see. So
totally. And just one more thing I want to mention. You're seeing this version of MTL where you can actually toggle between a list view of the calendar and the box calendar view of the calendar, because I am on a laptop right now. So if you're on your phone, you unfortunately cannot see the box calendar version. It just doesn't look very great on such a tiny screen. It's really trying to pull all of these things in that it doesn't really have room for. As you can see on the computer, it doesn't quite have room for everything with the 17 more events today, specifically here at Encanterra. But the other thing you can do is you can filter on this view as well. So if you wanted to just see fitness classes, you could hit fitness and health, and you'll only see the fitness classes that are happening in the community. And then if you wanted to print this out at home, you would just hit print calendar, and it'll print that, filtered view for you if you wanted to hang that on the fridge or, put it in your notebook or whatever.
that's great. That's a great additional tip. Thanks, Kels.
Yeah, of course.
So, Drew, I know we've had a couple of questions come in. Do you want to shout them out to us?
We've just had a few people that say, I'm from Trilogy Polo Club.
Oh.
Says, I want Wake Norman.
Hey,
Guys.
Kev.
And Stuart is from Polo Club, says, hello, ladies.
Oh, hi, Stuart. I believe he
Stuart.
was on last month.
I think so.
Awesome. Well, we'll give it, if anyone has any questions, feel free to type them in now. We'll be able to do a little bit of Q&A here. So if you have anything, type it in. Drew will relay them to us.
So I have a couple more,
Okay, perfect.
because I always seem to get questions from a lot of folks along the way. So when we're talking about before you move into a community,
Yeah,
so you basically get guest access
to MTL, yes.
to MTL. And so what is that, how does that version differ, Kelci, from once I move in? Because then I'm really a member. What's the difference between the two?
Right. So typically what should happen is you will get guest access to MTL pretty close to after you go under contract on your home. So those members would get guest access to MTL, which is just a pared down version of MTL. So they don't see the bulletin boards. They don't see the member directory. Basically anything where member information could be shown is not shown to these guests.
Yep.
They can view the events calendar, but they can't register for events. They can come on the live streams, but they can't, bring people to the pool or whatever. Or,
right.
Again, can't register for events, can't see the bulletins. It's basically like a read-only kind of view, and even then, only specific sort of sections on the site. So they can kind of see what's going on, get a feel for the community that they're about to move into, but because they're not actually part of the community yet, they can't quite do the things that members get to do, which is post on the bulletin boards, look through the member directory to find their neighbors or reach out to their neighbors, register for events.
Yeah.
And do all of that stuff. So it is a little bit different, but it does still give a good view into kind of what's going on in the community.
Well, and I think that's one of the reasons we designed it that way, is because once you purchase a home, especially now,
Yeah.
there's a lag time on getting your home built,
Right.
just due to supply and demand. And so we really wanted to show you and kind of validate the decision that you made. So that's one of the reasons that we do have guest access, and it does give you a chance to observe what's happening in the community, just maybe not all the way down in the gravel.
Right.
And then the next question I had is, can anybody who lives within a community start a bulletin?
Yeah, the bulletin board is open to all members. It's basically, as soon as you post it, it goes up on the site. There's no one on the backside like approving things before it goes up. So as soon as you hit post, it's up on the site, whether it be the full bulletin, any comments, anything like that. It just goes straight away. The only thing that I would caution everyone is that MTL does have terms of use that say, what can and cannot be said on the bulletin board. So if you're newer to the website or you're not quite sure, what's allowed to be posted, in the bottom right-hand corner of MTL, there is a terms of use button. Click that and it kind of outlines all of the things that can and can't be said on the bulletins. Like, for example, absolutely no firearms are allowed to be sold, traded, or anything on the bulletin. So if we do see those, we immediately pull those down. But that's because, it says in the terms of use that's not allowed. So pretty much anything else is, fair game outside of the terms of use. It could be anything from I found this lost dog to, I want to start a bunco group. Does anyone else play bunco? Which I believe every one of our communities has bunco. But
At least one.
they can really do, all sorts of conversations on there.
That's great, and that really is reserved for members to interact with each other. There is a national feature and a local feature.
Yep, so most of the bulletin boards are sort of at the local level, so only other members in your community can see it, but there is one national board that is viewable to all other Trilogy communities. So if you wanted to put something out there for the rest of the Trilogy world to see, you can do that. And then like Sara said, we really leave the section up to the members. So you won't typically find anything posted by your resort club team in the bulletin section. That's usually posted to the news section,
Right.
or the events calendar, or anywhere else on the site. The bulletin board is really, mostly for you guys to enjoy and converse with one another.
Absolutely. So I guess in closing today, a couple of things that I'd really like to mention is, if you have questions about things that are going on in your club, specifically that are lifestyle related, please reach out to your lifestyle director and they can certainly answer any questions for you. Whether you'd like to start a member-led club, or whether you'd like to understand the wait list function and how do I know if I'm getting into an event, that's what your lifestyle director at each location is for. And we have a very diverse team across the portfolio, so please don't hesitate to reach out. Some of our team members have been there a little bit longer than others, but we're constantly growing and improving the lifestyle experience for all of our members. And if there's something that you would like to see that we are not doing, also leverage your voice with your lifestyle team about that as well. Some of our best ideas come from our members. And that's where we learn how to really program to suit your needs. So don't hesitate to reach out to them. They also offer MTL 101 monthlies, normally on their own, just kind of a training class, or if you're having trouble getting in or whatever it is, just feel free to let us know, because we are so excited to be coming to you today. We're excited for the questions we've got, and we will continue to do this. We changed the day and the time from the first one.
Yep, but typically it's going to be around the second week of the month. But,
Right.
we're trying to figure out, what time works best for most members. So last time we did it, I believe, on a Tuesday early in the morning. This time we're on a Wednesday in the afternoon. So
Yep.
we might switch it up a little bit, but typically it'll be in the second week of the month.
So thank you all for joining us. Kelci, you're going to post this link later today?
I will post the link either later today or first thing tomorrow, but I think we have got a question.
We have a question and a suggestion. We have a suggestion from Dan Ginley, the general manager at Lake Norman, who says, shouldn't the bracket challenge be named after the club that won it last year?
Oh.
And I very rightly put him in place and said trash talking is not appreciated on this forum. But we do have a question from Stuart. Do we know who the new lifestyle coach for Trilogy at Polo Club, as Michael has moved on?
Actually, we do. Stuart, she will be joining the organization. I believe it is on August the 23rd. Her name is Mackenzie, and if all goes well, she'll be joining us on Monday, August the 23rd. We really, truly miss Michael. He was a tremendous asset to our team here. He did move with his family farther north in California and is working in the Sacramento area. And in fact, I have plans to see him hopefully the last week of August or the beginning of September. So yes, we have found somebody very qualified to take on that role. And Stuart, one thing that you can help us with, Kelci and I were talking about it today on our drive down. I think we're going to be putting out a lifestyle survey for the members at Polo Club.
Yeah.
And really trying to hone in our programming for the next coming year to make sure that we're delivering on the experiences that we've talked about. So I'm sure that you'll be seeing that soon. Christopher and I were chatting about it yesterday, along with Tim, and then Kelci and I were chatting about it today on the drive down from our office. So look forward to that coming soon as we're starting to put together that 2022 lifestyle calendar for you out there. We hope everything is well at the Polo Club. Dan, Trevor, and the team, thanks for joining us today. And we'll look forward to seeing you next time. Thank you very, very much for joining.
Thanks, everyone.